just wait with me. This is really important stuff. What we saw out of this was a 0.2% read compared to what was expected at 0.2%. So that's why we didn't get a huge spike. However, what this tells us is that inflation reads are still coming in overall in line with expectations. We didn't get a cooler than expected print. We didn't get a hotter than expected print. So it doesn't really, really kill the idea of an interest rate, cut in March per se. But what I would lean on that kind of still does is, okay, inflation's not really surprising everything, but economic data is. Where does that leave us? Well, that leaves us with what I would argue to be Jerome Powell stepping up and saying, okay, the market got a little excited about March rate cuts. We still have some strong economic data, and we think we should probably wait. This is my forecast. This is my best guess as to what we're going to hear from Jerome Powell. We get some words from him on the 31st of January, so it should be interesting. But here's what you need to know, okay? With this number, this doesn't really change the inflation side, doesn't really impress bulls, it doesn't really impress bears. So then you look at the economic data we've been getting, which has been pretty hot, and you say, where does that leave us? Maybe rate cuts are not on the table for March. And that is why I think that this number doesn't really change my overall view. Now, guys, I did mention that if you're a regular stream viewer, I've got some cool news for you. We're doing something really special today, and we've got this. The producers have put this together here for us, a little bit of a screenshot for you. We can pop that up. If you are a regular stream viewer, check this out. Today is the day. We are doing a one-day flash sale on the Edge Finder. If you just happen to be watching the stream here today, this is your chance. We're giving 45% off the Edge Finder. We can take it back to my end for a second. I'll show you guys this here. So if you guys have been watching the stream for a while, you know I use this tool every single day. Our software, the A1 Edge Finder, helps traders to look at COT data. It looks at economic figures, retail positioning, bank forecasts, which, by the way, I gotta show you guys this new feature. We just dropped a brand new feature on the Edge Finder. Well, it's not brand new. It's reinvented. And here it is. Check this out. This is so exciting, guys. And it's perfect timing for our flash sale today. I worked late into the night last night on getting this up for us. Check this out. What this shows you is you can select any chart that you'd like. We've got gold on here. We've got the euro. We've got the pound. And we've selected the euro as an example. And now on the left-hand side, what do we have? These are bank research teams. Things like Wells Fargo, Citibank, we have all sorts of different banks, right? RBC, we have Westpac, we have just tons of research teams and their respective forecasts for the charts that we want to know about. These are bank research teams. These are super professionals, and what they foresee in the next 1 month and next 3 months for a selected currency pair. So for example, you take the average of all of these different charts, all these different forecasts, and we have a 1.08 consensus. That's the approximate forecast for the euro based on all these research teams. On the quarterly basis, we have a 1.09 read. So what we had is we had PCE numbers come out pretty much as expected. 0.2 compared to what was expected, 0.2. We saw a really choppy reaction, like prices just went in both directions, it seemed like. And again, we've had a lot of strong economic data recently. And a lot of traders, myself included, were looking for this number to kind of give us some directional bias, right? Are we going to get a hot read or a cold read? Well, we didn't really get either one. What do you think about that? Just coming out pretty much as expected.
Yeah, I think maybe that can stay like that. It's much better than, I think it's way much better. If it was a very hot number, we were just going to get confused now, because it seems like that hope that they're going to cut the rates, it seems like now it's going far. But if the numbers are not changing that much, to me, I think that it's fine. But sure, I think maybe next month we might have some issues. You saw some news about Red Sea, whatever happening on the Red Sea. So those can actually make the inflation to also go higher. That is going to be a problem next month. So yeah, I think we're going to have some mixed number going further.
Yeah, and Kenzo, what I'll do is I've got this this new view that I've been loving, and it lets me
I
look at
like that.
all.
I saw it. I was
Yeah,
surprised to see. That's great, huh?
yeah, no, it's so cool
Wow.
for watching the reaction. We can see all the different charts, but again, the reaction here that we're seeing today: Nasdaq up, S&P up, Dow up, dollar down, pound, euro up, gold up. Seems like everything's up except for the dollar, and I find this interesting, and I will say, Kenzo, that we've had a three. I saw this tweet, and you might find this funny. Somebody said, all you have to do on Twitter, they said, all you have to do to make money is wake up and buy the Nasdaq. And I thought that was funny because there are times where it feels like that is so true. But Kenzo, you and I have been around for a while, and and as well as I do, that it's not always that easy with the Nasdaq. Sometimes the Nasdaq
No,
can
it's
sell off
not.
hard.
It's not. And even though maybe the trend, if the trend is pushing up and down, but that doesn't really mean that you should just buy anyway.
Yeah,
You see, if
right.
it was like that, everyone was just going to be a genius. So it's difficult. Actually, you need to know where to buy, where to sell. And it's not always a case where you will find a nice buy or a nice sell, so a right sell just by guessing. So yes, it seems like now the market will be pushing up, which is a very good thing. But if you get on the wrong side of the market, yeah, you might pay for that.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning, Kenzo, too. People typically get really bullish at the end of a great move. I mean, look at this. This is your monthly candles, by the way. A 3-month winning
Yes.
streak for the Nasdaq. And if you had tried to buy during this period of time, it would have been incredibly painful. If you had tried to buy during this period of time, it would have been incredibly painful. I know because
Yes.
myself included, I was buying some of the Nasdaq in that time, and it was not fun. So I can tell you that Nasdaq is not always that easy, and I do think that it is worth mentioning as we poke through all-time highs, and markets are super optimistic. We're getting a lot of positive economic data, and this is at least my
Yes.
opinion on Kenzo. I think that this strong economic data will decrease the probability that we see a March rate cut. And if we don't see a March rate cut, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm bearish on the market, but I do think that that will probably wash out some of the super enthusiastic bulls, and we could probably see a bit of a pullback in the month of February. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think it can just keep going higher, or what do you think?
No, I don't think the market will just keep going higher the way we think. One way or another, a reversal is needed. We're gonna have a proper reversal along the way. So now the market might still push to the upside, but February might be a different story. Uh, Especially if we don't really get a rate cut, which I expect. We just going to see a nice sell, an aggressive one, but it's not really surprising. The market currently is really far from our proper support area. If you check where we are, the support is here, and I think the market can still be very bullish. So it's not going to be a mistake to see the market trying to reverse maybe before we see another push. But yeah, that sell can happen even though we are on an uptrend, but we expect that.
Yeah, no, and I like the way you put that was really good, Kenzo, because I can see that you've got a setup marked there, and I want to be clear. I am a bull as well, and I think that what you've gotten there and what you've just pointed out, we're far away from that trend line that you've got, but the market can stay far away from that trend line for some time. It could even retest the highs here in the next coming days, right? It's very possible that with all this momentum, with all this enthusiasm, there still may be bullish setups in the short term for the NASDAQ. And what I like about your stop loss placement that you've got there, I thought that was really, that's exactly where I'd put a stop too. If the level there that you've got drawn, where your stop loss is at, if that level breaks, then I think you start to see the change in the story that you're talking about. Perhaps we start to feel the magnetic effects of that longer term trend, right? So if we come down here and we break this level of support on the NAS, it could very well slip back down to like 17,000 real quick. And for everybody who thought that it was just easy to buy the NASDAQ and win, they might learn a lesson or two there. But I think it will be interesting. I am still I kind of like that, tentatively bullish at this area unless it breaks. If it breaks, you got to get out of the way, I think, on the NASDAQ, as it could be due to slip back down to those levels that you're pointing out. I thought that was really well put. The longer term trend is up, but it is kind of stretched from where that trend line sits.
Market analysis, free trading courses, edge finder data, and special offers. What do these things all have in common? They're all available for you right now inside of our free Discord. You can click the link down in the description below to join the free Discord today and get access to all of this and more. Stay up to date with all the latest trading information and A1 content. And if you want to upgrade to our Gold VIP Discord that features every single trade that Trader Nick and our other professional analysts take, you can find the links for that in the description as well. So don't wait, go check out the free Discord today.
What are your thoughts on today's PCE number?
Higher, or well, not higher than expected, but as expected and higher than previous. So that's I think that would be a strong dollar situation here. And gold, I heard you mentioning gold before I got on. Yeah, it's still in that wedge pattern that I've been, looking to trade, but it needs to sort of make that direction. And right now what I'm leaning towards now is a break lower. So if today does anything along the lines of closing below that trend line, or this whole wedge pattern in general, I'll be looking at shorts probably in the next week. And if COT continues to be selling, I'll also be looking to sell.
Sorry to cut you off, Frank. I was just going to say, I was really hoping that this PCE number would get us that, because I've been wanting to trade gold as well, but it's been so choppy. And I just, it's one of my favorite things to trade when it's moving well, but it's just not. I mean, I got the same, I copied your trend lines here on the daily chart. We're still just seeing that wedge formation, this really tightening contraction. But I guess, Frank, let me know your thoughts on this, but maybe we'll just have to wait till next week. We have so much data coming out next week, PMIs, we have NFP, we have a lot of, and I think we even have an FOMC event as well. So we probably will see the market break one way or the other, but we might just have to be patient until next week.
Well, it also depends too, because say we get a big break today outside of this wedge pattern, or it crosses beneath and shows some rejection, like an inverted hammer, like it looks like it might be doing, then I may look for a short, because I'm sure you hold gold over the weekend too, you still collect swaps, right? Because you're short gold and dollar's got a positive swap rate.
I think some FX brokers, yes, you're right.
So yeah, I guess depending on the broker, you could be fine holding it over the weekend if you don't want to pay, or if you're concerned about paying a hefty swap for holding it over that time. But then again, you can't discount the fact that gold may break above just because it's the markets are like you said, choppy. You don't really know where they're going to go. So I'm leaning bearish. And COT today will help me figure out where I am standing. So,
fair enough. Yeah, no, I think that's a good point to be made. We're still seeing price. For those of you guys who are also kind of trying to stay patient on gold to make a move, we're in the same camp. But it's okay to just acknowledge that a market is choppy and wait for some decision. Speaking of market that's maybe not so choppy, I saw you typing it up, Frank. What are your thoughts on oil? I'm still clinging on to my position. I took a trade earlier this week, took like a really small profit on it because it kicked me out of the trade for a trailed stop. But now I'm running with this one. Are you looking to get back in on oil? What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I still have that $78 target in mind, and that just from looking at the chart, the previous highs double top around 78, 79 too. So that sort of price range is where I think it's going to go, at least in the short term. And I think today's number is going to add some fuel to that. And yeah, it's just a matter of entering again, but I don't know if I will this week. So we'll see. Okay. But I'm happy with the trades I've done so far this week, it's just been pound dollar, and then oil, and I may be done with the signals this week, but we'll see. So I'm long biased oil, and then I think I'm going to be short biased gold is what I'm feeling right now.
Okay, fair enough. So with pound dollar, were you long or short?
I was long.
Oh, nice.
It was early in the week, and
Okay.
I got trailed out, so I didn't really realize all that profit that I could have, but I somewhere in here, I think I took half the pips that I could have realized. So I'm not upset about it, but the market's not really moving that much anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, if you're catching a win in this kind of market right now, then that's more than you could ask for. So congrats on that. And
but that was
yeah, go ahead.
oh, sorry, that was just purely based on, so UK had PMI numbers this week too,
Yes.
which were higher than expected, I believe, in manufacturing,
And
then
services. I think it was
also
both. Yeah.
COT showed that was the only asset that was being bought.
Yep.
That was a clear buy signal from smart money. So everything else was getting, sold off like heavily. Even the indices, regardless of where they are right now, it was just a very, very much a bearish bias from COT.
Yeah, and I've got that pulled up, Frank, just because you mentioned it on the COT side. Frank pointed out, for those guys who were wondering what he meant by that. So the COT data, the last filing, pretty much was the only thing that was really positive on the COT filing. You had some Swiss franc, you had some yen, you had some Bitcoin, but everything else was pretty much sold prior to this week. And so the pound was kind of the standout outlier. We saw them increase long contracts, decrease short contracts, and overall still very long. So that's a nice pickup that you found those trades. And again, especially in a week like this, Frank, where there was not that much activity, it's been real quiet overall. Congrats on that trade, and congrats also on your oil trades. I'm trying to live on with your legacy there, because I'm still in the oil trade, but trying to cling on to it.
But now I'm trying to catch up with you, trying to get back in at some point.
It's a constant chasing the tail, because Frank and I typically, for those of you guys who watch the streams regularly, you probably see it. Frank and I typically we find similar trades. We're not always in the same exact moves. Like, I didn't trade pound dollar this week, but there's often times where I'll catch it a little bit better, or Frank will catch it a little bit better, and it's always like, we're always trying to catch up with each other. But congrats on the good trades this week, and we'll see if we can catch some good ones next week. I think finally next week we're gonna get some directional bias with all the NFP and I think that's finally going to be some numbers that we can really cling to and make up our mind about this March rate cut. Is it happening or is it not happening?
Did you know we do a live trading show Monday through Friday with guests from all over the world? To get notified when we go live, click the bell button next to the subscribe button, or check in at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have helpful, free content in the description below and on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you tomorrow.